Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking weed.
Me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake's
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
What up? It's your boy. It's Jake. That's Tyler.
Wow, I thought we were like that New York hip hop station for a second.
Oh, yeah.
What up? What up? It's T-Bird and Jake. What's going on?
Wow.
Later on, we got.
Couldn't think of anything fun for me. It's just Jake.
got. Well, do you want to?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna give fucking you T-Bird, what am I?
J-Bone? Jake.
Will?
I don't know. I don't listen to the hip hop
J.
station
Will
in New York, so I can't make any jokes about it because I really don't.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about the hip hop station in New York is that Sway used to work there, and he was on MTV News.
You don't have the answers, Sway. Remember that?
When I was working in Denver,
That was before Kanye was a Nazi.
in
Remember
TV.
That was fun. Those are fun times.
And this one guy I worked with was like, "Yeah, I was we had the NBA All-Star game in Denver, and I wasn't aware of things back then as much as I should have been because like I could have worked a lot more TV and radio jobs in Denver than I did. But I thought, I work at this TV station. I don't need to seek any more employment. Like, duh." But anyway, this one guy who did realize all the wonderful freelance opportunities in that town, we were in there, and he was also a douche. And he was like, "Yeah, I was at this party last night," because it was the NBA All-Star game. And Sway was there. And I was like, as much as I didn't really care about Sway, I knew he had clout. And I was like, God damn it, I wish I would have been at that party. Yeah. And from what I understand, Sway actually has done a lot of good stuff. He's made a name for himself, and I have no standing to call anybody out, really.
It's a long box.
Oh,
Wow. That was fast, I think.
Tyler.
Hey, me first?
No, me first. You went first last time.
No, you did.
No, you did. You droids.
All right.
You stupid droids.
Let me get mine out of the way, and then I talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I remember. So mine is related to a show that I've been watching with my son. It's called Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So this was coming out 2010-ish. So this was like
I remember it.
This was like right at the beginning of like with Iron Man 2 and the MCU proper and all that shit. So
isn't it a fairly loose adaptation of Ultimates?
Loose. Well, I don't really know
because it's Nick Fury, the Sam Jackson Nick Fury.
Yeah, but it's also like it stays pretty traditional to their origins and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it is very loose to like first of all, Ant-Man gets entered. Ant-Man and the Wasp are Hank and Jan, and they get introduced much sooner. Like they are part of the Avengers, like in the comics. Because fun fact, the original 6 in the MCU are not the original 6.
It's 5. It's Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, Wasp.
Yeah, exactly. My point is, but what I'm saying, that original team isn't translated into the movie.
I hate
because
that
you have
Captain America was not in the first one, but he didn't come around until Avengers number 4.
So much later on. Well, yeah, that's what I mean, though. It's like because...
But he seems like one of the...
Right. He just has always been a staple of that team because of later iterations. But anyway, the cartoon itself is actually a pretty interesting and enjoyable thing because it's like... It's fun for me to watch it because it is a little bit more... It's a little bit above his age sometimes. I think there's sometimes where I have to kind of like fast forward a little bit because it gets a little too... It's because it's a cartoon, but there's still violence in it. And it can get kind of... Because it's meant for like 7-year-olds, so it's meant for a little bit older kids. But I just think it's fun to kind of see how they were sort of following the MCU's... timeline and sort of following that, but also doing the stuff with Hank and bringing Ant/Giant Man into the Avengers sooner.
Are these other? Yeah.
Why don't they just stylize it like Giant Man? Like,
I thought you were gonna say angina.
What? Okay.
No, angina, like
but,
the heart condition.
But it's
What'd you
just-
think I said?
Anyway, forget it. I don't even know what to do with that. But again, it talks about the synergy that Marvel has done. But it also said, like, it's just fun to see, like, how he is getting introduced to these characters. Because it's similar to me. Like, I didn't start with comic books. I started with the cartoon shows. Like, I started with the Batman show. I started with the Spider-Man show.
A little bit same, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's also getting it from a different angle too, and it goes to the synergy with what Marvel is able to do with Marvel Snap and Marvel Rivals, and how integrated that is. You've seen it on Disney Plus. There's literally a section that says Marvel Rival characters.
Yeah, well, they know now that they can bank off of that.
Yeah, and he knows when he's watching this Avengers shows, he knows who the characters are because of that game. So he knows, like, oh, it's Captain America and Thor, and he's already seen the live action movie a little bit. So like, it's just a fun show. There was one episode, and I can't remember exactly which. I think it was the Ant-Man episode. It's called The Man on the Anthill. There's a sequence where there's a it's Claw. Is it Thaddeus? No.
Well, see, the thing I liked
dude
about
with
that
Black
show,
Panther, you know who I'm talking about,
right? But his name was Claw. But the thing,
Anyway,
he was not comic accurate, was he?
Yeah. Well, no, he had like an Australian. It was.
Yeah, but was he in a red jumpsuit with a big?
No. He looks like he does in the Avengers movie, where
See,
he's
in the
just
comics,
like
he's
in, like,
awesome.
get up.
In the comics, he's
He's
made
just
of
a gun
sound.
runner.
He's made of sound. He's not solid. Anyway.
In this, he's just a gun runner. But
Fair.
anyway, they're tracking him down and they're fighting him. But the team of henchmen that he has, and this is how I know that nerds made this shit. And I was like, props, because Ashley goes, "Wow, that's a good catch." I go, he looks like, oh, nuh-uh. And I noticed the henchmen were all the soldiers from Predator. Like, they were all designed like the characters from Predator.
That's cool.
Even the first guy that gets killed looks like Dutch. Looks like Arnold. And I'm like, oh, those fuckers. Because then I was like, because he looked, that's Carl Weathers. Because the dead giveaway was, to me, they had a Native American dude with big hair. I'm like, oh my God, we're doing Predator. And like, so yeah, they're getting taken out by Ant-Man. And they look like the dudes from Predator. I was like, that's I love little Easter eggs like that when you're just like randomly watching like these cartoons. You're like, that's so fucking awesome.
You're an Easter egg.
But yeah, short-lived show. I've not really watched any other stuff with him or anything like that, but the little bit that I've watched, I've enjoyed. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Hero. So if you have kids, it's a fun show.
What
to
I
watch.
would really think I would really suggest, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
I'm not watching that shit. It's disgusting. I'm kidding. Go ahead. You want to talk about it?
No, that's not my long box. I'm saying that would be a good show because that's the show that I watched when I was growing up, and I really liked it a lot. It was as close to comic books as you could get, as far as cartoons went at the time.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of, and the soundtrack is dope as fuck. It's 3 songs that they play at different times, and they all rock. And they're all for different times.
Yeah.
In each episode. But anyway, my long box this week is a couple weeks ago I discovered. So I'm a huge fan of the original Law and Order show. Huge. Dun 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 dun. Bam, bam. Yeah.
Produced by Dick Wolf.
So back in the day, when I was unemployed in Denver, my girlfriend and I were both unemployed, and we would literally wake up and get high. And around 9 a.m. on A&E was an hour of news radio, and then an hour of Just Shoot Me, and then 2 hours of Law and Order. It was awesome. I mean, we had to get jobs, but why, man? It was great TV, man. We got weed, Anyway.
Yeah.
But I always loved the original Law and Order, and for a while on Peacock, all they had was, I think they had season 13 through 20, and I'm a big fan of like the originals and stuff like that. So I was in Jay's one day, and I always go through the DVD TV sets to see if they have Law and Order. Usually it's CI or SVU, but it's never the original. And they had season 6, which is one of the ones that you never see on streaming. I had no idea, but at the time I bought this, Peacock has had all 20 seasons of Law and Order for like a long time. Anyway, so I watched all of season 6. And it's Benjamin Bratt and Jerry Orbach and Estapatha Murkison, and it's Jill Hennessy. And here,
We didn't give him enough flowers. He was great in Andor, by the way. Benjamin Bratt.
oh, dude, Benjamin Bratt is one of my favorites.
Is it Pratt?
He is Bratt.
Bratt. Okay.
He is one of the best parts of Poker Face. No shit.
But
He's
great.
only in
Andor,
like
by the
2
way.
episodes.
He's great in everything. That dude just brings it every
He's
role.
just a good-looking
Yeah.
dude.
But anyway,
So I'm a big fan of like the first like 10 seasons or so, and you know there's different every year. There was like a new secondary cop, and then there was a new secondary DA and stuff like that. And the interesting thing is I'm a big fan also of a little known show, very critically acclaimed but not really mainstream known, called Homicide: Life on the Street. And it's created by the same guy who did The Wire, okay? So it's a precursor to that show a little bit, because he wrote a book called Homicide: A Year of Life on the Street in Baltimore, or in the killing streets of Baltimore. And I read that book. That's kind of all wrapped up in The Wire too. But here's the thing, is Richard Belzer played a character named Detective John Munch on the show Homicide: Life on the Street. Then he jumped over to SVU, Law and Order SVU, and he played John Munch like for a number of years doing that. He's also been on cartoons voicing the character of Detective John Munch, and last I checked, he was held the world's record for playing the same character in multiple, or like the most different iterations or whatever, like different shows. So that's kind of funny. But every once in a while, you're watching a Law and Order episode, and you just put it on, and you just do your stuff, and you watch TV. And every once in a while, it'll be like to be continued. And during the episode, some of the people from Homicide: Life on the Street show up, and then oh man, I gotta find Homicide: Life on the Street.
Crossover.
The best part, so I forget, Law and Order all 20 seasons is on Hulu. Homicide: Life on the Street is on Peacock, all 7 seasons, or 9, whatever. So it's kind of cool because I'm watching a little bit of both, and it's just nice to, like the twists, sometimes they don't hit, but most of the time they do, and it's just been really nice to relive like those days, because it's a lot of character, actor moments, it's a lot of those moments that I love that you don't love as much as me.
What the fuck? Okay.
Well, you don't. It's not your jam.
Sure. I don't know what's the precedence for that. What makes you the
You
arbiter?
said that before.
When did I say that?
Well, okay. Well, maybe you were telling me how much I loved those characters. I don't know.
I'm just
Whatever.
fucking
Or
with you.
fuck you.
I'm just
Then.
messing with you.
Fuck you, man. Is it time for what's in my mouth?
Wow. Gosh.
It's an aggressive
I mean,
way to start that one.
Dude, I guess you are taking me to dinner first, I guess.
I
Zip.
did bring over Papa Murphy's.
Papa Murphy's.
Papa Murphy's,
So
do you
good.
want some food that you gotta cook yourself? But it's not quite as cheap. Or it's supposed to be, but it's not.
Wow, what a ringing endorsement of Papa Murphy's.
I was sitting in there, and I'm like,
I'm sitting here.
no, I was sitting in there, and I remember when it was a big deal, when it first became like when it first like got to Iowa, I guess, or whatever. It was a big deal because it was like, oh wow, this is a great like thing. You can get a pizza for about the same amount as a pizza at like the grocery store, but it's not frozen, so it's fresher.
Yeah.
Whatever. And they're still around, but I got to be honest, I feel like it's a business that it's not going to be sustainable forever.
You're better
I
off
guess.
just getting a pizza at the grocery store. A frozen pizza.
A little bit.
I mean, it's good pizza.
Don't get me wrong. It's great, but huge.
Yeah. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa Murphy's.
You know what I think it was? That's Papa John's.
Oh, wait, what?
What? What? Oh? What? You know what time it is.
That's the day of reckoning that Papa John's was talking about. People forget about that.
I think my favorite part
Where's
is
the day of reckoning,
is
Papa?
when you, whenever you finally play this, how the light in your eyes just dies. you just hate the segment so much.
Waste of everyone's time.
Turn it up so they can't hear us talking shit about our theme song.
What's it taste like? Salty or sweet? We don't know.
Psycho. I love it. Don't turn it off.
Oh. You know, it'd be really funny if I had the foresight to, like, at the very end of it, just have like a big,
Stop!
like a loud fart or something.
Oh, yeah. Let you know the song's
Like
over.
finally, it took
I
us
just
like
thought it would be
it took us like 3 years to finally play the whole song through.
I just imagine you just going, stop!
Stop it. Okay, so we got these fucking cowards over at Lay's.
Listen, Terry. They're going to call us cowards, Terry.
These fucking cowards over.
Segment's over. I'm not going to doubt that.
Right.
These fucking cowards and lays.
No, the reason why I say it, we've been through this before.
Here's why I call them cowards.
give me a Dorito flavored Cheeto, motherfucker. All right, anyway, Terry, you can't put the amount of Cheeto powder cannot go on a Dorito. The structural integrity won't be preserved, Terry.
What?
Terry just peeks over his cube. What?
So we have last week we did bacon grilled cheese, and guess what? It tasted like cheddar and sour cream. So big
like
fucking
shit.
deal.
Oh no.
What?
You were,
Fuck you.
Yeah, because I don't give me something.
but I was.
I'll eat your ass.
Yeah, you were. Listen, you open the door. I'm just gonna walk right through it. So this week we got Wavy Lays, and it's Korean style fried chicken.
Sloppy.
That's weird. I was thinking in my brain. I was like, pick the sloppy one. It's a good job.
Sloppy.
Well, you did it already. You don't have to do it again.
I want my taste buds to be.
Having sex with him.
So let's eat them. Okay, what does it smell like?
Korean barbecue or Korean?
Korean
chicken?
style fried chicken.
The real question is, if you had a bag, would you?
Finish it! Finish it!
Finally. What's the meh?
Nice.
See, I'm never going to be able to give any of these like I'll eat your ass, and here's why. Because you can't, you got to take some chances, Lays. What do you think, this is some kind of fucking game or something? No. You take a fucking Cheeto and you go, I'm going to put some Fritos Flavor Twists flavor on this Cheeto. And then I'm going to take this honey barbecue Fritos Twists and put it on
I'll
Cheetos.
eat your ass. I'll eat your ass.
Say it again. I'll say it 3 times.
I'll eat your ass.
Here's why I'm not giving it the same as last week. I'm giving it better than that. Because this is a distinct and unique flavor. It's got an Asian zing to it, whatever that means.
The audacity to say it and be like, whatever that means.
No, but I've heard that term before. Oh, that's got a real Asian zing to it. Like, what does that mean? Does it mean there's ginger in it? I mean, is there like some sort of soy sauce flavor? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't. But no, like the Asian cuisine obviously you can't look. Most people think Asian cuisine and they think like Chinese. Okay, yeah, but
like Chinese food. Yeah,
but Asian cuisine includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Korea. I mean, there's so many different styles. Now there is kind of a flavor profile that kind of comes out of the Asian area, like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, that Japan, China, and then there's kind of a flavor profile that comes out in like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh type area. But you can have something and be like, oh, that has like an Asian zing or an Asian flavor to it or whatever.
I don't care what kind of thing it is. I gotta tell you this right now.
I'll eat your ass.
Zing me right up the
Give me a
butthole.
bag of that.
Finish it! Finish it!
It is really good.
It's a very loud one. I apologize.
Yeah, what the fuck? Does it taste like chicken though? I mean, like
It tastes good. I don't give a shit.
it is very tasty.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I got what I paid for.
Yeah, you didn't pay for it, motherfucker.
How much do I owe you?
$1 million, bitch.
Trying to get you to spit take.
Never happened.
We were
Although I will burp into the mic. Hey, before we move on,
Please. Please disrupt the show more.
George Wendt passed away. Norm from Cheers. Been in a lot of different stuff. And I would just like to, before we move on, I would like to recount two of my favorite Normisms.
Yeah.
Norm! What's shaking, Norm? All four cheeks and a couple of chins.
No.
And then the other one, Norm! What's the story, Norm? Boy meets beer. Boy drinks beer.
All right.
Thanks for totally not even smiling during that. That was great. Fond remembrance.
Fuck you.
Fond remembrances
All right.
of Norm.
Before we hop into, because we got some books to talk about.
Oh, shit.
Wow. So you read them. Homework.
Homework.
Before we get into those books, I want to do some quick headlines. So I just saw this.
You heard about the corduroy pillows?
corduroy pillows?
Pillows? Making headlines.
What?
Do you get it? Corduroy pillows? Do you ever hear that joke?
Vomiting!
So here's some weird news. So Superman is coming out July 11th.
Uh-huh.
However, if you have a local theater participating
Mm-hmm.
and you have a Prime membership,
Mm.
there's a website to go to like redeem your ticket that you would get. You get, I think you get 1 to 2 per Prime membership, which is fine because you and I have separate Prime memberships.
Yeah.
But essentially, yeah, if you have Prime and you have a local participating theater, you can see Superman July 7th, which is a new strategy that Amazon has never done before. I've never seen it done for this big of a movie
Yeah, I'll
before.
go for it.
So you're not like, I think people when they first saw this were confusing it with something because I thought it was that too. That's why I did some research on it. You don't get to watch it at home, so you still have to go to a movie theater.
I gotta be honest, that would be fucking dope.
That would
as
be insane.
Fuck. That would be because you know
But
what
they did
though?
that already with HBO Max and it didn't work.
And
so
you
they're
know
not
what?
gonna
You
ever
know what
do that
else?
again.
You know what else too? If they did that, nobody would go to theaters anymore.
Yeah.
Why would you want? Why would you
Why?
need to ever?
What would be the point?
I can watch it at home.
So,
anytime.
but that's what I think I find interesting about this strategy. So they're banking on you. I think what they're banking on is people doing like what they did with Movie Pass, where it's like, well, my Amazon Prime membership technically paid for this movie ticket, so I'm going to spend more in concessions because, I didn't technically buy this ticket.
I guess.
But
I don't-
that's what I'm saying. That's how that's how my brain works sometimes.
I-
I'm just saying that's how people's brain works.
I don't mind either way. To me, it's just cool. Like
It would be cool.
I haven't been to a
it.
midnight showing. The last time I went to a midnight showing was Empire Strikes Back special edition, and I was hammered.
Oh, it was like one of those re-releases.
Yeah, I was 98.
97, I think. Something like that. The last midnight.
Old Capitol
This is
Mall,
gonna sound
downtown Iowa
It's gonna
City.
sound fucked up when I say it, but the last midnight showing. Well, that's not true. I technically went to another one.
Hmm.
No. Yeah, the last midnight showing I went to was The Dark Knight Rises. And the reason is because they stopped doing midnight showings after that movie because of what happened.
Yes, in Aurora.
Yeah, so that was fucking wild to wake up to that news the next morning.
How do you think,
Having gone to the midnight showing,
dude?
before, yeah.
720 is the area code and 303. And I woke up the next day, and I don't know if I knew the story, but I woke up the next day and somebody from that area code had called me the night before.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I knew a lot of my friends lived in Aurora. And I was
Shit.
freaked out all day because I was trying to call people and be like, first of all, who called me?
Yeah.
And second of all, is everything okay? I'm like, it was nothing.
Yeah, but that was crazy to see that. And because
Hey.
you know what's funny is it really does just kind of hit hard because it's like it takes away the fun of like what used to be an innocent, cool, exciting thing. Be like, we are going to see this before anybody else in our neighborhood because we're going to the midnight fucking showing.
Hey,
We're
are you a depressed piece of shit who has no social skills? Get some help. There's like the 800 numbers and quit now and don't kill yourself.com and whatever help mental health. But here failing all that, if your thing is like, hey, I'm gonna take many people with me. Hey, you go skip that part, and then just go ahead to the next part. You know what I mean? Like don't take as many people. Like if you want to be a shithead and like leave, it's fine. I'd rather you got help first. But if don't be a
So-
dick about it. Why do you got to be a dick about it?
So and that
Right?
the substitute for that now is 7 p.m. Thursday showings. But this is interesting because this is a
My brother
Monday.
goes to a lot of those.
This is the Monday before the release, so like this is 4 days before it actually comes out to theaters, or possibly 3 if people go to a Thursday night showing. I want to look into it because I think it'd be cool if we could go to the screening.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool.
Um,
I hate that I have to work the next day, and I don't give a shit. Just take a nap.
I mean, we're gonna see it either way. If it doesn't work out for us, then yeah, we'll probably just see it like we normally would. But I think it would be cool to be in early and just be like, because dude, I can't wait for July. July, we're gonna be eating because we're gonna get Superman and Fantastic Four in the same fucking month.
And I believe
it's
we'll
gonna
be
so
we'll be
good.
going through Ironheart at the time.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Probably most of July.
So
It's end of June, right?
yeah, it's like June 24th is when it's coming out. So overall, I think it's pretty cool and interesting, and I hope it's successful. And we'll see where it goes, and then this could lead to other movies and things like that. I'm all for doing since we can't really there is that novelty that I miss. Like I love going. Honestly, I do love to do what we normally do, and going like on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning,
Same.
like brunch. That's great.
Mm.
But part of me does miss that like Thursday night first screening experience.
The only thing that sucks about the matinee is that
Old popcorn. The night before
they're-
popcorn.
okay, there's a couple things that suck about the matinee. No matter how you're feeling, like a movie, going to the theater is an event, if you will. And to me, I'm always tired afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, I've done something big, I guess. And the nice thing about going to a movie at night is when you get home, you're like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna chill out for a little bit.
It's
and then
like going to a
crash.
concert. You're going to an event. You're going out and you're experiencing something. Yeah.
You're getting ready. You got to be there by a
Yeah.
certain time. Da, da, da. Yeah, exactly.
It's like 3 hours.
So,
yeah.
despite the fact that like it's only 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when we're on our way back here to do the podcast about it, I'm just like, man, I just want to go home and take a nap.
Yeah.
Which sucks because it's like that's the only thing. That's the only drawback to doing matinees. But I like doing matinees because it's cheaper. There's almost never anybody in the theater. I like getting it out of the way.
Honestly, if this were to work out, it'd kind of be perfect because we could see it on Monday and then do record the podcast on Tuesday and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if it doesn't work out,
Yes.
we'll figure something out.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Another quick hit on the news. So this past year, we talked about the dumb fuck that is David Zaslav and what he's doing with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, hey Max.
including-
Hey Max, how did you not get in on this like Amazon Prime deal?
Hey, remember?
Like at all?
Time out. Remember, which is funny because it kind of tells the state of where there is. Like, we're not even going to use Max subscriptions. We're going to use Prime subscriptions. HBO
Yeah.
Max subscriptions. Which,
With
by
a
the way,
Max add-on.
By the way, I was starting to say Max again, and I can go back to HBO Max because it's almost like HBO had a good name recognition.
Who fucking cares?
You know how many
either
fucking
way?
times they have botched that brand's name? It has been HBO Now, HBO Go, HBO Go Fuck Yourself, HBO Fuck Me.
Years ago,
HBO Max.
Years
HBO
ago,
Max.
I worked in an office job, and we got bought out by a company in California, and we had been voted the 3 previous years one of the top 5 places to work at in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Like it was that, like the benefits, everything, like hours, the fucking area where we worked, and all that shit. Perfect, great. California assholes come in and like get rid of all that stuff. And they're having our first meeting, and somebody was like, da-da-da-da-da about this, and they're like, yeah, we won't be doing that anymore. But you can wear jeans every day. And it was a little thing, like, I don't remember what it was, but nothing serious. And people were like, ha, 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 And then somebody asked him a more serious question about, like, retirement stuff. And he was like, da-da-da-da-da, but you can wear jeans every day. And we started realizing after the second time he did it, oh, my fucking God, these morons think that wearing jeans every day
It's the
is
pizza
going
party.
to take the place of like good pay and benefits, right?
Yeah.
That is exactly what fucking HBO Max, Warner Brothers, who fucking gives a shit? That's exactly what they're doing, dude. They think by going from HBO Max to Max that people will pay attention and want to know more, which is the exact opposite. Now they're going back to HBO. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the
And in the
give a
process-
cookie. It's a give bread and circuses to the people, and they won't notice all the horrible bullshit that's happening over here because they're, oh, look at this cookie.
Like
that
the
I have.
fact that, like, oh yeah, in that process they axed one of the most influential, important kids shows around Sesame Street.
Oh, yeah.
It got rid of that.
Well, doesn't help that fucking shitheads over in Washington decided
with
that
PBS.
woke agenda. Hey, let me say something real quick. If it's for profit, you don't want your kids learning from that. You want your kids learning from a not-for-profit organization. Why? Because they are not driven to make profits, meaning they'll make the best decisions regardless of profit. That is why public broadcasting is very important, and why anybody listening to this who think that's a good idea to stop funding it is an asshole. Thank you.
Also, thanks to Netflix, they did save Sesame Street. So all previous episodes and future episodes will be streamed on Netflix. And the new episodes will be on PBS and Netflix.
Let's not forget, though, that Max got rid of all the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So,
But I think it's important to note that they are making it a thing. Like, this is going to be on PBS and Netflix.
cool.
So that's cool.
Good.
Netflix
Good.
just-
That is good.
But they will cancel it after 3 seasons. That's Netflix's way.
Makes too much money.
And finally,
want more money.
This bit of news of fuck around and find out, and also like, how did you think this was gonna go? The video game Fortnite is. I have many problems with this game. One of them is this, where they have all these different properties on this game and all these collaborations, and they most recently had a big Star Wars crossover. Problem is, so you can get like the Darth Vader skins and Palpatine skins and all that shit. Well, the problem is when you get the Darth Vader skin, you start to realize that is not a voice actor. That is fucking AI. So they use AI for like characters to recreate those voices of Darth Vader and shit instead of actually using actors.
Yeah.
So now SAG-AFTRA is suing Epic Games,
Awesome.
the people that make Fortnite,
Good.
about
Fuck
Star
'em.
Wars.
Good.
And
You know how much money they make every second, hand over fist? Fuck you, Fortnite. Fuck you, Epic Games.
Yeah. Fuck them.
And meanwhile, you're putting our children to sleep. Hey, just play a fucking game all the time, man, with your friends online. That's what's important in life.
you have
Don't vote or
like,
anything.
What kills me about this is you have so clearly you have access to the license. You're doing a crossover with them, so you can talk to Disney and get this shit voiced, no problem.
Yeah, but money.
But you wanted to
But you
fucking
they'd probably have to pay for it.
because you are a dog shit corporation.
Yep.
Epic.
Uh-huh.
You had to fucking cut corners, and you had to pull this shit. And I hope they get every bit of money they can out of you, and you fucking deserve it.
Yeah, fuck
Because
you.
AI has no fucking place in art.
Uh-uh.
It doesn't belong here. Get it out. Get it out. In fact, I'll go even further. AI doesn't belong in a lot of fucking shit. Okay? And we need to keep pushing back on this.
By
And
the
we
way,
need to
I
keep-
love
we
that
need-
fucking meme of Sarah Connor watching you while
Yeah.
you use AI for everything. Is fucking because it's just like, dude. The other day on the radio show I do, we were talking about AI something, and I picked out "Come with Me If You Want to Live" from Terminator 2, and we got back from the spot block, and I was like, hey, by the way, I found some behind the scenes audio of the AI system you were just talking about, and I played it, and it was like, "Come with me if you want to live," and everybody started laughing because it was like, yeah, but that's not funny.
Yeah.
Because we're using fucking
doing
AI for everything. Duh.
Dude, I had a work meeting.
Do you think they have the launch codes yet, like
Man,
they're supposed to?
Dude, they were telling me at a work meeting that like, oh, there's this AI that will listen to the conversations you're having and like help search things for you. And I immediately spoke out in the meeting and be like, have none of you watched a sci-fi movie or read a freaking sci-fi book?
For fuck's sake, people.
What are you doing? Why is this thing listening to me? Smash your phones. How are they going to listen to the show, though? They smash their phones.
Yeah, I'm not gonna smash my phone.
Yeah. So
my whole life's
good
on
on
that thing.
SAG-AFTRA. Fuck Epic.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. We're talking about.
Oh,
some
and
books.
don't forget also, and I cannot wait for for some sort of trailer from this. But fucking Nicolas Cage in the Spider-Man Noir
Yes.
TV show.
Can't wait.
Live action. It is going to be, from what I read, viewers are going to have the option of watching it in full color or in black
I'm
and white.
watching that in black and white. No question.
Give it here.
Time out. Before we get to the book. The other Superman trailer. If you want me to cry, play the Superman theme, because you want to talk about inspirational shit. It is that.
We should do this one first.
I believe that a man can fly when I hear that music.
So we kind of get a little bit of the plot.
You fucked up the order. I had Batman on the agenda first. Tyler, let's talk about Superman then.
Well, you started talking about Superman.
Oh, you trying to segue me, dude? Yeah, we can talk about that.
But we get a little more plot details. Clearly, what's going on is at some point he's caught and put away, and Metamorpho is also in the same cell with him. And he's had some...
More like meta, oh no. You know what I mean?
More like Meta, go fuck yourself. More like Meta, Pika the guy,
No,
go
Hank.
fuck yourself.
Is going to be
I know.
Metamorpho.
So, but yeah, we kind of get a little bit more of the plot details.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Absolute Superman number 7.
The first of our books.
Now, if I remember correctly, last issue was just a one-shot kind of about his time in Kansas.
Yeah, it was
And
kinda,
this seems to be the same
it
type
was
of thing.
It was catching you up to why, or him going back, because he goes back to Smallville after issue 5, and yeah, issue 6 is kind of bridging the gap of him going from Krypton to living living in Smallville, and living with Ma and Pa Kent. And then yeah, this is also kind of a flashback issue. Number 7. So Brainiac had kind of been functioning in the background of this story.
Yes,
throughout the
it
other
was
issues.
very clear.
And it seemed like it was an AI. And you and I had kind of been like, okay, they're going to make Brainiac kind of like this AI thing, which is like, okay, that's kind of interesting. They don't do that. Jason Aaron and co. do not do that in this issue. But I think that's a good thing, because I actually really enjoyed this issue.
Yes.
I thought it was really fun and unique, and continues to do what we like about these Absolute books, and changing the mythos a little bit, and playing around with it, but not again, going too crazy with it.
So this is I went to all the way to the end of the book to see the title page, and it's apparently this next arc is going to be called Superman Son of the Demon, which is generally what Batman has been known as, and it's the prologue, which is a mind is a terrible thing. So this is effectively a origin of sorts for Brainiac in this universe, and I just want to say I love.
So what makes
the
this
whole like, okay, your job is to shovel.
Oh my god! So the whole concept of this Brainiac that we are with, which is like Brainiac 419723 or some shit like that. That we're going with this whole time. He is a clone, Brainiac, cybernetic being. And he is created for one thing, and that is to dig and scoop up all these dead other Brainiac clones that they are called refuse, and they just throw them. And he goes, "You dig." And at one point, he's digging, and one breaks out and attacks him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm this is my job. I meant to, what are you meant to do? And he
Yeah,
goes,
he's like,
I meant to stab and kill and
are you refuse? Wait, I serve the collective. What is your function? I am Brainiac 8,002,338,759. I stab. I kill.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am Brainiac 419,732. I shovel. And he just cuts his head off. I shovel.
Also, I was like one digit off.
And that's like day 2844.
Oh my gosh,
day
they keep doing it.
13,638,
Yeah,
which is
day
what
49,000,
12 years. And at this point, he's propped up a bunch of them as the what is it called? The Brainiac. Brainiacs of the collective.
Well, the collective. You serve the collective is what is kind of done. So yeah, the reveal is you think he is talking
just nuts
to a council.
Yeah,
but the council is propped up dead bodies.
You realize he's gone overboard a little bit.
Yeah, there's no council. He's
No.
the only one left. He just kept digging and digging and digging, and there
he's clearly lost his mind because he's talking to a bunch of dead ones and he's propped them up and he's like, "Thank you for being my friends," and eventually,
am I refuse? Day 13,638.
Eventually, there's none left, and so he peeks out and he opens the door and he realizes that he's the only one left, and he's been on a spaceship. Now, my favorite part. Can I see this world one?
Day 49,901 is when he finally leaves.
See. Yes, I want to see. There's a part where he's talking to. Oh, this is Brainiac 667-666. This is Brainiac Q953X. This is Brainiac untranslatable wailing sound. When he's talking to all the
so the collective are these different Brainiacs throughout the multiverse.
What so we will find something out here in a little bit, but at this point all we know is that this is the Brainiac, right?
Yeah.
So he goes out, he finds that everybody's dead but him, so he takes their ship. And now we find out a couple of panels, a couple of whatever's later when he's talking to the other Brainiacs. That's exactly what the fuck word words. That he's a Brainiac that there is a collective of Brainiacs out there and they don't know about him.
He doesn't have a number. He never reports his
so
number.
whenever he talks to them, they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And then he gets his answers and hooks out, which is interesting to me. So he's basically a rogue Brainiac. Not like the other ones are good or anything. It doesn't seem like they are.
But this is going to be the Brainiac that Superman is going to encounter because he is obsessed with him, and he's like, I can't understand it. And we play with what Brainiac normally does. He's got all the cities, and he's like, I will crush you down.
By the way,
dust.
it's great when he just decides to break one because he's mad.
Yeah,
and just
a
murder
whiny
billions
kid.
of people.
Yeah, and yeah, he's gone crazy.
But then at the end, we see that he has Christopher Smith, and he's augmenting him. The Peacemaker who did that shit in Pakistan, which is in our universe, the Peacemaker. Which, by the way, did you see the fucking trailer?
Yeah.
for season
Which-
2.
oh, this
Can't fucking wait.
Which by the end of it, when stands behind himself and says, "Who the fuck?" I'm like, this is how he's gonna tie it into the DCU. That's interesting. He's gonna use
can't
his
wait.
dad's little fucking extra dimensional door. And I'm like, huh,
I can't wait.
look at that.
I can't
But
wait.
no, yeah, this. So why do we prefer this versus Absolute Batman #4? I think the difference here is that they're just. I just feel like while this is a flashback, this is still moving the narrative forward, whereas I felt that other issue doesn't. And this does by still mention, like, again, Superman doesn't appear in this issue, but he is constantly referred to as the catalyst for why this Brainiac is on Earth and why he's obsessed about, like, why he is killing who he is and why he is.
You give me.
Oh, and we forgot. He attacks the Omega Man. We finally get the reference to the Omega Man that's been dangling, and then it just shows. And I love it.
Well, he wastes them all.
I love it when a writer kind of alludes to something important, then shows them, and then kills them out and destroys them for something bigger. And it works effectively here because I'm more interested in Brainiac by the end of it.
You give me Absolute Batman, that first arc, 1 through 5. You give me that, and then you give me that filler issue from 4, number 6. What the hell? You guys do these months in advance. I know you do. I know how it fucking works. You have to plan this shit out months in advance to make sure all the printers are ready and all the distributions are all this crap. You couldn't figure out
Solicitations
to move.
are months
Yes,
in advance.
yes, like 6 months. You couldn't figure out to move 4 to 6 and then give me the unbroken 1 through 5. That's just piss poor planning. And I'm sorry, but after this one, and let me, give it here. Oh, I want to hold it in my hand while I piss on it.
Whoa! All right. Well, by the
I'm
way,
not actually pissing on it.
should we never give ratings anymore? We never really did.
I'm a huge fan of Absolute
I really
Superman,
liked
and it's probably the only one besides Wonder Woman I'm going to keep reading.
I'll eat your ass.
Now,
I'll read your ass.
I'll read your ass.
That's our new trial.
So Absolute Batman. Now,
Absolute Batman #8.
through no fault of the place that I go to, they have done this thing, and this is why I'm refusing to read this particular Absolute book anymore, because this is the one that I always have to get. And DC, fuck you, by the way. Fuck you, DC. These dumb motherfuckers have put an extra $1 cover around the book that is just an extra cover. And it's an extra $1. I would rather spend $4.99 than $5.99, but because they can't either send enough out for me to get one that's just this, I'm sick of spending that extra $1. So I'm not going to buy this crap. If there's not one that's just a regular $4.99, go fuck yourself, DC.
Oh.
What a shitty fucking way to make an extra couple dollars. Fucking corporations, man. Eat shit. Anyway.
Alright.
Sorry.
So the book itself.
Did I go off a little bit?
Absolute Batman #8.
Should I be a little louder? God.
So this picks up where 7 left off, where Bruce is investigating the grisly death of his friend Matches, who he was talking to, who tried to get him into Arc M, which is yeah. And while he was doing that, he was exposed to something.
Oh, by the way, in this one, Croc does get taken to Arkham.
Some sort of
Or
skin
Waylon.
thing kills
I
him.
suppose Waylon is his name.
So the issue picks up where we find out Victor Freeze is not keeping his wife frozen; it's his parents.
Mm.
And then this book, I'll just get it up front. It's someone who loves Batman and it's someone who loves Mr. Freeze particularly. I ate this book up. I love it. As someone who loves horror and loves it when Snyder leans into his horror sensibilities, woo! Boy, I was sopping wet. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was okay.
I had
it
fun.
was,
I
was
liked
just,
it.
It's,
I liked it a lot.
the whole book basically is just him fighting with Mr. Freeze
So,
and
the
alluding
whole
to
thing-
the flashback with his friends.
Saying hey, don't give up, Bruce.
Yeah.
But so he captures him and puts him in this chamber, and I love it when the scariness is the existentialness of it. where he's like, as he's locking Bruce into this chamber, he says, "Now as your temperature drops, you might feel a burning. Hyperthermia scrambles the brain's thermoregulation. It's why so many people freezing to death remove their clothes. Don't worry, though. Soon the suffering will pass, beyond hot or cold, of course. For the first 30 years or so, all you'll want is death. But after that, hopefully, if you're like me, you'll come to accept it and even love it, the pain." And just like that, where he's like, "Oh, well, after 30 years, it doesn't hurt as much." It's just like, fuck, that messes with your head. And I love it because like this full panel shot of Bruce freezing and like him having flashbacks and shit of it, like a bat, of the city, of a skull, of him crying after his dad, like the gun and like all this shit. And it's just like, I love it. I love it when they lean into that gothic shit and play that up and just how he escapes. I love it. When we find out that his cast also had a secret gauntlet in it that shoots a batarang out. Because of course he does. Because Bruce is a psycho and he would have that. Because why wouldn't he? Right? And so, yeah, as he's happening, he's having flashbacks of matches and how matches feels like he's...
Wait a second. You have a cast concealing a special little dart thrower? Doesn't seem so crazy now that I'm stuck in a tube filled up with water now, does it?
You know what I thought?
Who's crazy now?
When he shot it into the thing.
When he shot it.
I fucking shot. No, when he shot it into the tank, I thought of...
into the tank.
And the Under the Red Hood.
And then they froze it for use in the future.
The Under the Red Hood
embryos.
Animated movie. John DiMaggio does the Joker. He does a great job. But he goes, "You did it, you rootin' tootin' son of a bitch." Or you rootin' tootin' bastard or something like that. And I think of that when he shot it. But when he just fucking shot that batarang. This is what I love about Snyder. As I mock that, I'm like, that's so silly. That's Batman, but that's silly. And then it's like, I shouldn't think this is cool, but it's fucking cool. When Mr. Freeze is talking about the snowflakes, and he's saying that the snowflakes are what's going to land on people, because he's been manipulating the weather and creating this snow to collect people's DNA samples or collect the data and whatnot. And he goes, no one worth mentioning, but Malone was a nobody. I don't expect anyone to come knocking. Funk! You just see him kick open the door, and it's just trunk. And the onomatopoeia is the whole panel. And then when he comes in and just goes, and it just says knock, knock, in the biggest text imaginable. And I'm like, Snyder gets this shit. So, like, this is a guy that's been doing this a while. And I'm like, I shouldn't think that shit's rad. But it's like when he takes an elevator shaft and turns it into a Batmobile. It's cool. What can I say? So, yeah, he shows up. He fights Mr. Freeze. This is where
that was crazy.
This is where it got even more insane. I'm like, hell yeah.
You just released all the fucking
all the frozen people that you assume were dead were alive. So now they're just like these cryo zombies that attack Batman. I'm like, we're going there.
But this is the fun part. He's trying to do what he can to like not kill them. But they're so soft and like, I mean,
they've been frozen for so long.
Yeah, so he's like accidentally crushing these people's like skulls and
they're mush. They're like when you leave a fruit out for too long in the sun, you know? I love it. I love this book. I love it. I unabashedly love it. And then the color. When he breaks out of the building into the night, the color change and the neon is just perfect. Like I actually
Martine, I don't know what his full name is, but I actually like this artist better.
Oh, I do like his art a lot. Yeah.
Overall.
It looks very similar to Dragotta's art, but it also like he has very distinct color and very distinct.
Yeah, he also doesn't give Bruce Wayne some sort of weird Pinocchio nose for some fucking reason. Dragotta
always got weird tiny
What's your
face.
fucking weird deal, dude?
So then we get at the end, the epilogue. So Batman escapes. He doesn't kill Mr. Freeze, or he doesn't apprehend him either.
He has to get away.
He just
actually,
escapes because he almost dies.
Yeah, almost dies. Almost
cryo zombies.
Yeah,
gets out, and then we find out later that Waylon Jones was hit and abducted and getting taken to Arkham M. And then we find out
it's just Ark M, man.
Ark M. And then we find out next week, or next issue, is Bane. So that's the end of Freeze for now. And then, whatever the fuck they're going to do with Bane. And I think, are we pointing to that Waylon's going to be turned into Bane?
Oh, maybe.
and not Croc? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know, man.
I'm okay. Look, and I will say this: as much as I ate up that issue, I'm also with you at a place of like I don't feel like I can stop reading it for now. I'm fine with putting it down because you said it best when you're like, we've been doing this book for 8 fucking months.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, but it's clearly issue 8.
Yeah.
So we've been. No. Like I'm very happy that for the most part that we have been proven wrong with the Absolute books.
Yeah.
I'm not reading Absolute Green Lantern anymore because it just doesn't interest me. I think we've gotten enough of the Absolute Batman, or personally, I've gotten enough of it to see what it's all about. Superman still is really intriguing me, and I'm still like, I kind of want to do a little more. I want to go a little further.
The Brainiac shit was cool,
but not only with the Batman, but also, I'm not kidding. That extra dollar cover is so infuriating. Because there's no fucking reason for it other than, now some poor schmuck kid has to pay an extra $1.
Yeah,
Why?
It's silly to me. I don't understand.
Yeah,
it either.
go fuck yourselves, Warner
And
Brothers.
it's like,
anyway,
and that's another thing too. It's like DC, you can afford it. Like, what the fuck?
right? Why are you?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to shortchange? Fucking such a shitty business practice. It really is. So that has coupled me to decide that I'm doing Superman. We're still doing Flash and Martian Manhunter because we still haven't figured, whatever. And I'm still doing Superman. I still want to do Wonder Woman too.
Yeah.
But the rest of them.
Well, as we get further into the summer and we have a few weeks off before we get to Ironheart on Disney Plus.
We're gonna be doing a lot of books.
We got more books to cover, and so that's why we're so book heavy this week. We got 2 more books.
2 more books.
This is a Marvel book.
I can't read
because you know what? We were doing some DC there. Let's mix it up, right? So this book I have in my hands is Spider-Verse versus Venomverse, #1. Because in case you forgot, Marvel has a habit of taking a popular character like Spider-Man
or a concept,
like Spider-Verse, and applying it to Venom
ad nauseum.
And what I love about this book is how stupid it is, and I mean that in the night.
You know what I love about this book? I don't have to buy any more issues of this title.
Not really.
Ever.
I think it served its purpose for me. But you and I were talking. It reminds me in a way you were with the Eddie Brock Carnage thing where it's like I want to hate this but I enjoy it more than I should because that actually has an interesting story. And in this book, it's not so much that it's an interesting story. It's a basic, easy enough to follow story that you could read it, but man, does this reek of
cash grab,
and this is a book for normies. So let's run down. Let's waste. This is 22 pages, by the way. Let's waste like 3 pages
on exposition,
reminding you that Venom and Spider-Man are tied together. Hey, buddy. If Venom was a Spider-Man villain, Venom has always been tied to Spider-Man. Intrinsically, that's kind of the point of the whole character, guys.
Do we have to really review the issue at all after that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We spent I love it in a way.
It's fun.
Like, if I had never read a Spider-Man comic or a Venom comic, this would be a great recap for me. But it's also like
I found the null stuff was helpful for me because it caught me up over the last 20 years.
I think there is
so.
some examples of exposition in this book that are
some of it is
that
necessary.
are kind of okay
yeah.
because after the null King in Black shit, I could not tell you what the fuck Al Ewing is doing with Mary Jane being Venom and
right.
all
Yeah,
that
who the
fucking,
fuck knows?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
but I can't lie to you and not say that I didn't geek out at the 2-page splash of these two fighting each other because it's the Venom fighting Spider-Man. I'm always gonna pop for that. That's the cool shit.
I was gonna chub up for that.
Always. But the whole gimmick is it's black and white dialogue and Spider-Man's traditional red bordered captions saying the same thing. Peter and Eddie Brock are saying the same exact thing.
That was kind of neat.
And that was a kind of neat motif. But again, it's like we got 3 pages of that backstory to get to Spider-Man dropping in on a villain, and he's like, "Hey, I already told the
Miles Morales is already there.
already talked to the other Spider-Man guy." And Spider-Man goes, "Oh, I should have
yeah.
coordinated this with Miles."
Yeah.
And then guess who else is there? Silk, because we're in
Yeah.
New Jersey.
I like
and then
Silk. That's a cool
Spider-Man
character.
does make a comment, being like, "Wow, I guess I really don't need to do this as much because you guys are around."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, that kind of sucks." And he's like, "No, I mean that in a good way, because that means I can actually live a life, pretty much, you know."
And then he disappears, and he's
And then he's
kidnapped
talking-
and taken
Can I-
up
time
to.
out.
Do we have to really review the whole thing?
No, I know we're not, but can I just say I will give this book props when it made me laugh. He disappears in like this blue flash, and Silk says it's probably bad how desensitized I am to people vanishing from existence into a swirl of cosmic energy.
Yeah.
And then Miles just goes, "Yeah,
Yeah.
good joke,
Yeah.
good joke."
I did like that.
Oh, okay. So we land on this weird plane of existence. We don't know where it is. So we get the Spider-Man variants for this Spider-Verse versus Venomverse team up.
It's
Or
two.
crossover book.
It's two cosmic entities fighting for control. And the only
Hold
way
on,
that
hold
we
on.
can. What?
I want to talk about the fucking spider characters.
Oh, of course.
and the
Let's
Venom
introduce
characters.
all of them.
Yeah. So they all show up on 2 pages apiece, which I do appreciate. I love the styling.
Look,
of
I
it.
love these kind of books. Don't get me wrong.
It's
It's
a.
just,
I want to be clear.
yeah. I just don't
I'm
need to
with
read
you.
the next issue.
I have no interest of reading any more of this.
Yeah.
I thought it was
gave me everything I wanted.
it was a fun
right
enough
there.
book.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. It's bullshit. It was
Hey,
entertaining.
here's some Spider Ham. Awesome.
All right. So anyway, yeah. Here's the no. Just because the team makes me laugh. So the teams are Spider-Man from Earth 616, the
Yep.
Spider-Man we all know, Peter Parker.
Yep.
The Spider Prowler, which is the new thing that happened with that Beyond the Spider-Verse, where it's like, oh, what if Miles was the Prowler?
Yeah.
Recluse, which is Zion Riley, which I'm assuming is a Ben Riley kid. Like she's Ben Riley's kid or some shit. She's tied to Ben Riley in some way. Spider-Ham, and then the most atrocious one of the team, Weapon 8, because it's V111, I think. Yeah, Weapon 8.
Well, yeah, because 8 legs.
Oh, my God. I just noticed that, too. Oh, I hate it so much. So it's a Cyclops Wolverine Spider-Man variant because what? God damn it, Marvel cannot help itself.
And you know
But
he's
how-
got adamantium bones and a healing factor. Because he was in the
why
Weapon
does he have-
X.
but why does he have spider power? Who cares? Who cares?
Shut up.
But then you
Print
know
it.
what? I'm gonna take it all back because then when I go to the next page, I look at the Venom variants. I'm like, that's kind of fucking cool. And I look at it, and first off, we get Anne as Agent Venom
Right.
instead of Flash Thompson. And then I made a joke because I took a picture of this panel and I sent it to my friend. And I'm like, I swear to God, I don't work at Marvel because I've been playing Marvel Rivals and I play as Thor in Venom a lot. And this is like, ooh, a Thor variant. The Viking Venom.
I don't know if it's a Thor Venom.
Well, it's going for that like Norse.
Yeah, but I think
variant.
it's just a Viking. I think a Thor, a
you and I were
venomized
talking
Thor
about
would be
this.
cool as fuck.
You were talking about this. You and I were talking about this. So they're like, okay, so we got Anne as Agent Venom. We've got Spider Clan Venom, which I think is like a riff on like Drax the Destroyer. Is what I'm kind of taking from it. And then we have Eddie Brock Venom, but not from 616. They make that distinction
Yeah,
early
it's a different one.
because each character has each Earth they're from. And but the thing that I love about this, so I want to get to what I. It's the same thing I talked.
No, it's like a Japanese. I don't know what the hell Spider Clan Venom is.
Oh, I just thought it kind of looked like.
No, he's just.
Yeah, let me see.
He's just a Japanese like.
I thought they were going for like Drax the Destroyer.
No.
But anyway,
does a
so
Road
then the
Rider.
next 2 pages after we're introduced to these teams is this 2 pages of exposition. And look, I read books. I read a lot of things. I don't mind reading. But even me, when I'm looking at a comic book and I see that much word bubbling in 2 pages, so much exposition that it spans across both pages like I'm reading it as a book, makes me be like, oh, we are in trouble.
Honestly, can I just say one thing? Go back 1 page. So we got the page, and on each page we got the Spider-Man dudes and
Venom
a
dudes.
mini exposition of who they are, and then on the other next one we got the Venom ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, close the book. I'm done with it. I don't need any fucking more because you know what? The fight scenes aren't that great.
So So,
that's literally all I need from that book. You can.
no, but this I just want to riff on this next
Tell you to
this
close the
next
book.
part specifically because
Sure.
it reminds me of what we saw earlier with the 3 pages of exposition to just get us here. But then
Get a room.
but then it reminds me of that Helverine book
Mm-hmm.
where we've got to take all this page real estate
Mm-hmm.
to set up this absolutely stupid fucking plot.
Bonkers,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. This is the image I'm looking at, ladies. and
Don't have a
gentlemen.
stroke.
So the whole consensus of this fight, because you know what else? Can I just say this about this issue? This could be summed up with, it's not that deep.
Nope.
Spider-Man and Venom is not that deep. It's not that deep. It's a scorned suit. That's all it is. But the fact that we go to the levels of creating this thing called the heart web and the hive mind.
Oh,
and what does it look
fucking
like?
Christ,
It's a
dude.
thing
Yeah.
that looks like a human heart made out of webs and a brain that's made out of fucking symbiote goop.
So the spider gods are warring with the symbiote gods.
So they're saying, like, we're going to take these multiverse spider characters and these multiverse symbiote characters, and we're going
I
to...
wish you could see me right now because I'm pantomiming just jerking off 18 of my own
And
dicks.
we're going to play Fortnite, where we have...
look at all the dicks.
We're
Sorry.
going to play a video game, essentially, where we have to get to these fucking pillars that are these checkpoints.
Yes.
And then, by the way, it's winner take all.
Oh, you're
If
gonna
the Venom
die.
team wins, all the spider characters are
Whoa.
wiped from Marvel
Yeah,
canon.
like that'll happen ever.
Yeah, neither of this... That's
Yeah.
never going to happen.
Yeah, no. Maybe for a month. Right? I could see him doing it
So
for like
here's
a
where I
month.
wanna get-
But guess what? The solicitations have already been out for 6 months for the next month, so you already know that the spider characters. That's why you can't really fucking. There's no real surprises anymore. Nothing new under the sun. And to me, the book is hot garbage. It's
Oh, I love it for
It's-
how bad it is.
it is what it is, and I got what I wanted from it, and yippity skippity, and I don't need to read anymore.
And then here's one of my favorite parts of the book as we wrap this up, because we got to talk about the other one. But
Oh, we got time.
he goes, fine, don't let me get away. Is that you, Eddie? Yes, but not the one you know. Yeah. How can you be sure? Because on my world, we killed you, Peter.
And he's sinister.
So then Pat,
Ugh.
yeah, he's got like the traditional Venom smile on his fucking face. So
Not
Spider-Man
friendly.
goes, so it's like that, huh? And he goes like, no, we... And he just starts to fight Venom. And Venom's like, no, wait, no, it was an admission. I was trying to say that, like, I'm guilty. I feel bad about it. I feel guilty. And it's like, then say it differently, dude. Like, of course he hits you because he's like, yeah, because out of my world, we fucking killed you.
the part where Spider-Ham, he gets clocked in the head, and then he
Should
shows
be
up
dead.
again, and somebody's like, what? And he's like, just, let's just say, like, injuries don't work the same for me. Because, like, his head is still, like, split in
Caved
two.
in.
It's really funny. But
So-
other than that, I
so
mean,
you
dude,
know what else I thought?
What?
Viking Venom was the coolest looking dude. And
so
in my
of
head,
course,
I was reading it, I'm like, it's the first issue of a crossover. He's the coolest looking one. He's going to get punked first. So he shows up and he goes to fight Weapon 8. I hate this book. So he goes to fight Weapon 8 and he stabs him. And he's like, you can't hurt me with Venom. We are Venom. Because we got to get that fucking line in. And he goes, you don't understand. It's not Venom. It's fucking napalm. And he lights this Venom up and burns him. And and Spider-Ham, who's already healed from his head injury at this point, just was like, what did you do? And he's like, what are you upset about, pig? I pressed our advantage. The spiders are winning the war. Also, his eyes have multiple eyes on the fucking thing like a spider.
hot garbage.
Am I supposed to give a shit about a character that you just introduced in this book and brutally murdered at all?
Let's not forget that the Venom team is basically
Thor
it's,
Venom?
No, it's Eddie Brock, it's Anne Wang, Agent Venom, some random
Thor variant
like
type
a Viking Thor, or a Viking Venom, which is not necessarily Thor. Then
It's
a
evoking
Japanese
him.
shogun type guy, which who the fuck is that? And then a dude in a suit who takes off like right away.
Yeah, who's that dude? He's like, I'm not going to fight.
Hey, you know what, writer of Spider-Verse versus Venomverse? I don't care that much to read issue 2 and find out what the big secret is.
So next week,
Should have given me more in the first one.
we're going to continue our trend of silly, ridiculous Marvel crossovers. And we're going to read the Godzilla books. Godzilla versus Hulk, Godzilla versus X-Men, Godzilla
Just as
versus
meaningless,
Spider-Man.
but slightly more entertaining.
There's even a Godzilla versus Fantastic Four at some point. All right, Tyler. Before we get out of here, we got one more book to talk about. We got a full-on
So
volume.
I sell a lot of Legos to JCD and Hobby here in town, and when I go in there to get my, I'll drop off a plastic bin that you can get at any Walmart or wherever, like a storage bin full of Legos, and then I'll come back a couple days later, and while I'm waiting for them to get my offer or to paperwork, whatever, I'm standing by all of the trades.
Yeah.
And I'm standing at the end of it, right? So generally, I look at Marvel stuff because it's pretty easy to tell that it's Marvel from the spine, right? So I'm what kind of stuff is anything here that it can't even? And I see this. We only find them when they're dead. Al Ewing,
Good title.
and I'm like, well, fuck.
Long, but good.
And I'm like, well, fuck.
That seems
It's Al Ewing. So I look at it, and here's what it says. Captain Malik and the crew of the Vheim 2 are in search of the only resources that matter and can only be found by harvesting the giant corpses of alien gods found on the edge of human space. While other autopsy ships and explorers race to salvage the meat, minerals, and metals that sustain the human race, Malik sees an opportunity to finally break free from the system by being the first to find a living god. Now, right away, I'm kind of hooked, and then I've come to find out that it's I think it's 5 issues. It's 15 total issues.
Yeah, it's 5 apiece.
So it's 5 for each one, and there's 3 volumes, and each volume. I don't know this yet, but so I start reading it, and it's really cool because it's these ships, and they're going off, and everybody is racing to the dead corpse, and everybody picks like a section of the corpse, and they pick the cheek, so they show them like harvesting the cheek.
It's the 24th
meat.
century.
Yeah.
And at this point,
all the resources on Earth are gone.
So all of the all the food, everything, because these gods are these colossal beings.
Well, no, the Earth ran out of resources, and then they found these gods, and they realized that they could. Yes,
they're so massive they could just mine these dead gods for resources, like you're saying, like cutting off a piece of the cheek for the.
They have no idea where they come from. They don't come on a certain schedule. They just
show up, and then these mining ships show up. They claim a piece of the god.
There's a mining consortium that controls all of it, and there's rules and regulations. Yeah. You can't do certain things, and this guy Malik is like, well, fuck that, and he ends up going past where they're supposed to go.
Because we kind of get it like sprinkled throughout each issue of this, but yeah, his family, there's a tragic thing that happens with his family, and because of that event, he is set on this mission to find a living god. That is what he always wants. He's like, because he is with his boyfriend, and they're talking, and he's like, I want to do this because we have we only find them when they're dead. There has to be more to this. There has to be something on the other side.
Where are they? They're alive?
And yes, they had to have been alive at some point.
At some point, they get to when they get to us, they're dead. Right. So how far back do we have to go? Da 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 da. And so he. And there's a side story between him and the navigator in his ship, and this other woman is chasing them, and that becomes a whole thing because they eventually escape and break the rules, and they go off into hyperspace, and they find eventually a live god, and this girl catches up to them.
Yeah. Okay. One cool thing I wanted to mention.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no.
Dick.
I'm not dismissing that because I want to touch on that because it's Paula Richter, by the way, is the one who's chasing him.
Uh-huh.
There's a motif. Motif, is that the proper term? But there's this thing that pops up throughout each issue. That it's a running thing that you always see, and there's 2 of them. There's one. The year is blank. The year is blank.
Well, there's time jumps
because there's time jumps between these 2 times.
Well, there's flashbacks.
One of my favorite things, too, in the first issue is they do All Is Bells. It was 8 bells, All's Well, or whatever. And they do all that when they find a god. And my favorite thing is it's a 2-page splash of this massive dead god.
The art is fucking
in space.
insane.
It's almost like I'm watching a animated show. Like it's crazy.
That is
the
a
work of the
great
art.
way to describe it. If you took like cells from an animated
Yeah.
movie and put them in a book,
Yeah.
that's what this looks like.
So, but
We're not gonna
it says
do each
that,
issue,
and then
are
they
we? I mean, shit. It's 5 issues, dude.
no read the book.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Look, we said this last week with the Green
We're
Lantern.
not gonna.
When we do in volumes, when it's multiple issues like that, we're not gonna
We're
break.
doing overview, man.
We're not gonna break it down like we would single issues. But yeah, it says the gods are always beautiful and the gods are always dead.
Mm-hmm.
But like just shots like that. So Richter, when they show her, it like the example that we saw when we first meet.
I got us to like the middle
Malik.
of the book already, man.
I know. I went back to where we were, douchebag. So what I wanted to point out was each time there's a different ship, there's this caption that says, "The ship is the escort one, an escort ship with a crew of 1," and then it'll be like, it'll go Malik's ship, a crew of 5, or crew of, and it counts how many are dead at that point, or how many are alive, and like. So yeah, they eventually decide to break through, and Richter chases them on the other side. And
Richter
that's-
like works for the
they keep
entity that controls all the god mining.
They keep them. Yeah, they keep the mining.
She's like a
colony
security
in
cop
check.
type of thing,
She has a past with him.
Yes.
That gets developed,
which
and
you
so
read about throughout the story.
Yeah.
Won't give it away. But there's
We can't,
something.
I mean,
No,
we're
but
gonna
there's
talk
something
about
going
everything.
on in there.
So chapter 2 is when they finally break through the other side, and then everything after that, when
Yeah.
they break through to the other side of where the gods are, is where the story. It's focused on that part. There's no other places that we're going.
Well, they get
But
they
man,
get
when they
beyond
get there-
where anybody has ever been before
Again,
recorded,
because
and
they-
that's when they finally find a god. Well, they're
Well, I'm getting there. You're on the same page I am. So when they get to the god, no, it's fucking cool. Like, and I don't want to downplay it. Like, I need to get her. So at this point, Richter's caught up to them, broken into the ship, and Malik's best friend is like, he's like, you need to get out of there. Like, we need to figure this out, and you need we need to tell her to stop. And she's like, no, fuck her. Richter wants you dead. She's gonna never stop chasing you. Let's fucking deal with her now. So she tries to throw like some mines on Richter, and Richter says it doesn't work. She says it's my turn and fights her. But before that, they see the god wake up. So this is the first time any of them has seen this, a god waking up, and it's just. And you know what? I don't think I've ever imagined what it would be like to witness a god waking up or reawakening or whatever. But it's a really interesting concept of like, of course, why wouldn't it just be beams of light from this giant celestial being? Being like, I am awake. So it was really fucking cool. Like, and it's a 2-page splash, but they're also in this like weird void of space. So there isn't a ton of color, and when it does shine through, man, it's fucking.
I don't want to give too much of the end part away. Suffice to say,
There was an accident.
there's an
that led
accident
to
because
Richter.
of Richter and her aggressiveness to catch Malik, and Malik loses one of his friends, and again, I don't want to give it too much away, but there's a tragedy, and they end up. Malik says, "Fuck this! I'm gonna keep going."
Chapter 4 was my favorite because they kept playing. It really plays with Ewing's motif of the fucking time jumps because it's constantly cutting back between different stages of Malik's life,
Which comes-
where the same theme keeps
Which
running
comes
and
really
running and running.
into theme, or comes really into play in the final issue of the book, because it shows what they're finally deciding to do is to keep pressing on, and then what's the final page here?
No, I don't want to spoil it. Well, the last thing is they have the fight where the god. Let's get to
I was gonna. No, it's not where I was going.
These are the last like 2 pages. Anyway, so at the end of that fight is a great moment too of Malik with Richter, at the very end of it being like, what was it all for? What was it all for? Like these people died, and I wanted to get to this thing, and we finally had it, and we lost it, and it's a great moment too. But then you're also seeing the true colors of Malik by something that gets revealed that you're like, oh, this isn't the hero we think he is, or this isn't the character they would lead you to believe. It's a really cool twist. And I think that I'm glad that we have all 3 volumes. It's exciting these next 2 weeks, wrapping up the story and seeing where it goes.
He keeps going. He goes farther and farther and farther, and he goes and finds something crazy. And
sees like
that's
all of the
final.
gods.
I wasn't. Whatever. He finds something crazy.
Who cares? I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah. And then there's a time jump of like 100 years,
Please read
and
it.
there's
It's
a
a good
guy
book.
going like, it's going to be another no-show, and there's these ships, an autopsy ship is what they're called, not really mining ships, but they see all the bells start ringing because a god's about to show up, and a god does show up, but not the way that they think,
And he's not dead. It's a god that's alive.
and you'll just have to wait till next week.
Yeah, I have in my hands volume 2. I will say,
I gotta
when you
reread volume
were
2.
giving me these books, you said this goes in. I think you said in the first one, this goes in a direction I didn't expect, and then you gave me the next volume. You're like, yeah, this really doesn't go in a direction I expect, and then the third volume, each volume, you kept saying that.
Well,
And that excites me because this book,
the first volume,
this is already going in a direction I didn't expect.
the second volume is like 400 or 500 years, or like 80 years.
Volume 2 is
Like
50
80
years after volume
yeah, and
1.
then volume 3 is like 100 years after volume, or like 150 years after
We're
volume
doing,
1.
like fucking Frank Herbert, Dune style, massive gaps in time.
I'll say this: when I finally got to the
Storytelling.
end of the whole of
Style.
all 3 volumes, I did sit there and go, "What was the purpose of all this?"
Isn't
You're
that-
not gonna
is-
you're
isn't
not
that
gonna
the
see.
point?
Hang on, let me fucking. You're not going to see an adaptation. You're not going to see a movie. You're not going to see a TV show. You're not going to see a cartoon. You're not going to see any of this shit. So what's the purpose of it? I don't know. But I will say that it was a cool fucking concept. Well done. And hats off to the 2 people?
Yeah.
Hats off to the 2 people that created it and made it.
Also, this is book 1, The Seeker.
Only $10.
If you're following along
And
at
then
home,
the second one.
book
second.
2, The Stealer, is what we'll be doing next.
You got the fucking Google. You got the Google.
Why do you get fucking like this every time? I swear to God, you hit a max point.
You
Look,
got the Google.
3 hours of hanging out. We only recorded an hour and a half.
No, look. Sometimes people
Where's
call.
the content?
Hang on. Sometimes no, because God damn it. Sometimes people call in and they're like, "Hey, where do I find the website for dirt to dirt to dirt?" And I'm like, "You have what you're calling me on right now is a computer, and I'm running a live radio show. Now that's not the same as this." But I go and I'm like, you need to not be calling me with this because you should be able to just Google it. Now, I appreciate that you're telling us the names of each volume.
Do you?
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.